TheGoldMighne.
Yo, what's good, man? We back at it again with another episode of TheGoldMighne, man. And I got a special guest today, my dog, my homeboy. You know what I mean? He's a producer, artist, writer, actor, businessman, all that, man. CP Hollywood, what's good?
What's good, my man? Happy to be here.
Yeah, man. You know I had to have you come by the TheGoldMighne. You know what I'm saying?
It'll happen one day or another.
But yeah, so for all the people that might not know who you is or what you done, just name some of the artists you work with, some of the songs that you done produced.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the song that's a Florida classic would be Shone on Deck. And then I did Trina's $1 Million Girl. I did another track on that album, Showing Out. Did a lot of records in the time period that you and I were real hot. Was right before social media. So what's interesting is now I'm going back to records that I've got 2 Chainz on, 3 records that Rick Ross is on, hooks on, Busta Rhymes, Pleasure P, Jason Derulo. Like, I'm sure these guys don't even know they're on these records because it didn't even have time to circle back to them. So now I'm about to put a lot of these records out on Spotify because they really weren't even correctly distributed. Back in those days, they didn't have the United Masters and all these other ones now that distribute so easily. So, man, I've worked with so many artists, probably like 60 plus industry artists.
That's what's up, man. So what's some of the like the most known records that they might know that you produced? Like name a couple of them. Like
definitely would be Shone on Deck and $1 Million Girl. I think those are like everywhere I go when I tell people Shone on Deck, especially in the South, like they love that record. Like I still listen to it in the car. Like once a week, twice a week, I still hear that record. Every time I go to the club and they play that Juke set, the grind mode, I'm so high, it's always in there. So I think that one, as weird as it is, like I didn't collect the most royalties on that one, but I think that record stamped me more than anything. Unfortunately though, like that stamp of that like Juke sound is not really the sound that like I really produce. So it also kind of like boxed me for a while. And then $1 Million Girl, because it had Diddy on it, you know, like that record again was really like outside the box of my sound too. So it was interesting, like some of the records that caught weren't even like the sound that I really mainly produced. I felt like some of those beats were like my weakest records, honestly. Like when Shone on Deck came out, I was like, yeah, it was an okay record, but they started working it so hard and then I got like what they did with the record. It took me a second, honestly.
Yeah. And for the people that don't know whose records those was, who was those records? Like who was the artist?
It was Busta Free and Yak, and they were under surveillance. Now, you know, Busta Free was just on the Boogie record with Ball Greasy and Case One. Shout out to those boys, because they've been doing this for a minute, and they're all hot, and they, you know, and Greasy especially, man. This dude's been around since Shone on Deck was around, and he like resurfaced, rebranded. The dude is, you know, I got respect for him for sure.
Most def. And then the other record, the $1 Million Girl.
Bro, that was Trina, Diddy, and Carrie Hilson. And then there was a lot of hands to touch. That's crazy. When you look on BMI and you look at all the publishers, the writers. When I looked on it the other day, going over it with the publishing company, it was like something like 11, 12 people on that record. For publishing, for all, like Mario Winans touched that record. A bunch of people touched that record. Like when I looked at the writer's credits and all that, I was like, oh my God. Different person for the hook, different person for the, you know, the verses. Like
I was just looking at all the splits, like, man, there's like 8, 9 people on this thing.
Yeah, and it gives you respect for like the A&Rs and the people who really do the business correctly, because it's like, you know, you do records with artists and then when you try to send them the split sheets, they go missing.
Right.
And it's like, that to me in itself is ridiculous. It's like, how are we gonna get paid on this? Because right now, like all the distribution services now, you can't even submit a record without clearing. They all do like online split sheets, like to okay it. Like you have to sends them an email. If they don't sign it, you're screwed. So it's like you just did a record for nothing. I can't even put it out anymore. Like the better ones are starting to do that now for good reason, because they're distributing a record and then somebody comes back and claims I had 60% and it really should have been 50. So I ran into that issue so often that I just got to the point where I stopped wanting to work with a lot of different artists, and I'll tell them up front now, if we can't like get the royalties done up front, I have a publishing deal. It's useless to me.
Right.
It's useless.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell, man, when it comes to like working with artists and and shit get weird when you start talking about split sheets, but you know, this is the business. You know, we ain't doing this for fun. You feel me? This ain't.
It's not a hobby.
Right.
You know, I feel like when I start presenting split sheets, it's like the artists who start getting crazy about it are clearly the artists that just don't know the business of the music. So they could be as hot as they want to be, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand the business, you're not going to make money, and business is money, you know? So when I send them that stuff, they act like I'm sending them a contract. I'm like, bro, this is just us agreeing that you own it, I own it, so I can actually do something with it.
Right. This music business talk right here, you feel me?
Yep.
So for all y'all that don't know, all y'all artists, producers, writers, anybody in the music industry, you need to do split sheets. What is a split sheet? You can go to songsplit.com. That's like one example. But basically it allows you to, once you guys agree on what percentages go to who, you know, how much he get, I get, whoever's involved in the song, you can put it down, write the percentages down, and then it'll allow everyone to agree on that, and then it becomes basically an agreement.
Yeah, and what I used to do, and like honestly, it doesn't
so
even
you
have
know,
to be.
I don't want to cut you off. I'm gonna be making some beats here while you talking.
Perfect.
So don't mind
I'm a
me.
talker, so
Go ahead. So explain what you was telling them.
So, well, for game for people, right? So publishing is like an encompassing word, right? So when someone says publishing, there's actually two sets of publishing, right? So like the labels used to use this back in the days with like the doo-wop groups, and unfortunately a lot of the black artists in the 60s and 50s got screwed from publishing companies because they were uneducated at the time on music, and so was everybody else. I mean, it's not like just them, but that's how it started to get exploited. And what would happen is they created the writers. There's the writers, and then there's publishing, and they're both considered publishing. So when people talk about publishing, they get confused. So you have a writers, and that writers doesn't mean that you were just the writer. You could have been the performer, you could have been the actual writer, you could have been the producer. The publisher doesn't touch that writer end, they touch the publishing end. So there's 200% pies. So it's actually 200% on the record. Now generally, if it's me and Rush and we're doing a record and there's no publisher involved, he's 50-50 on both pies. Like we're instantly 50-50. As the producer, you're always 50% of a record. So if a producer does come at you and says, hey, I want 50% of that record, it sounds crazy. But if you really think about it, what is that record without the beat? There's a cappella, there's no song.
I want to stress that too, man. A lot of you artists, y'all don't realize the producer gets 50%. You feel me? Like you said, a lot of artists, they get weird when you tell them as a producer, I need my 50% and my 50% publishing, because that's standard protocol. You feel me? Producers are entitled to 50% of the song. Half of the song is the beat. The other song is for the artist. Another thing I like to always tell artists that buy beats too is when you buy the exclusive beats, a lot of artists think when they buy an exclusive beat that they own your beat and that they can go even sell it to somebody at that point. So that's not the case. When you buy an exclusive beat, you buying the exclusive rights to the beat. So you have the right to use it. You should have unlimited access to promote, sell, all of that, but the producer always remains the owner, and the producer always gets 50% writer's credit as a producer, composer, and 50% as a publisher. If you want to do a buyout now, that's something you can negotiate with a producer like CP or me, and we'll work out a price and be like, okay, boom, no strings attached, you own this 100%. You can say you produced this at this point. You can go and sell this beat to P. Diddy if you want. So just so y'all know, there's a difference between leasing, exclusives, and buyouts. You know what I mean? Just a little gem there, you feel me?
And I think where artists get upset is that production has changed so much that you've got these guys who really aren't, I wouldn't say producers. Like a producer is somebody who puts everything together on a track. Like in movie production, a producer is coordinating everything, right? So on music, it's coordinating all that. So you have executive producers who produce projects and bring all the artists together and make sure that those records come together with a culmination of people. But then you got the music producer who's supposed to put the vocals on it. It's supposed to, tell you where the hook comes in, the bridge comes in, and format it. But I think there's so many just beat makers, like 16-year-old Fruity Loop beat makers. Not to hate on Fruity Loops, it's great software, but it's so easy. The barrier entry is so much easier than when you and I started, where it was all outboard equipment. Everything's digital now, so I think artists feel kind of slighted, like damn, dude, I bought a beat from you exclusively for $500. You want 50% of my record? You just sent me a beat you made in an hour. You know, so I kind of understand the perspective when someone's not a real producer. But you and I, you know, we know about harmony, we know about frequencies, we know how to mix, we know how to master. So that's a different end that I think you and I always are going to be strong on. But I think a lot of new producers aren't really producers, and that's not to take a shot at, though.
Right.
Like, if you just make beats, to me, you're not a producer.
Right.
Like,
you could be a beat maker and
right.
you could be a producer.
Like,
a producer is going to take the whole record from A to Z. They're going to make sure your vocals right. They're going to make sure, like me, I don't just make beats. Like, I can engineer, I'll record it, I'll mix it, I'll master it, I'll guide the artists on how they need to say, do it, record it line by line, make sure everything is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you did it with me.
Right.
Yeah, like 5 records on the album about to release. You're recording. And that's it. Like, you recording and recording it right is key, man. Like, if you're not recording with a producer, to me, like, an engineer isn't the same as a producer. A producer naturally has rhythm. Like, when we were in the studio, something that's common with a producer is we'll give you a line or two. We're not asking for writer credits. We just want the fucking song right. Like, if I give you the N word on the line, it's not the end of the world. We just want to get the song right. That's what we do. We put it together. Like, the melody may be off. Hey, no, change this melody, you know? But that's only somebody who can, like, know about chords and harmonies and has rapped, you know, to be able to give a rapper the cadence to do something. Like, how do you know how to do what rhythm to it?
right.
You know, so if you don't know the rhythm, like, it's kind of hard to tell somebody that. Like, lots of times I hear dope engineers from a sonic aspect, and I'll get the vocals, and they're, like, dragging. I'm like, you don't hear that, bro? Like, it's not snapping to the beat.
Yeah.
And I'll take it and literally slide it, just, like, 2 slides to the left, like a 30-second.
Right. Putting their vocals on time, right?
Right.
I do that all the time as well.
Like,
I think that's one of the other reasons why people like dealing with me as an engineer is because it's like I don't just hit record, you know what I'm saying? And just to be clear, I don't really enjoy engineering. That's not my goal in life to be an engineer, but it comes along with being a producer.
Right, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't just hit record and let their cadence and delivery be what it is. Like you said, we'll shift it, we'll put it on time. We even change the note, put the note on the right note. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot when you go into engineering. Like, I kind of got to the point where I like engineering my stuff. I hate engineering other people's stuff. I don't record anyone else's stuff, actually. Like, I don't even do it. Like, I don't feel the passion for it when I'm in it. It's like, I don't want to give my full production element for engineering. Like, because I'm taking that producer sound and really producing him. You know, rather than it being like a mix down. And even mix downs, man, people don't understand. You want a really good mix down, that shit can't be done in a half hour. I don't care how crystal clear that mic is, because every beat has different frequencies. So that same frequency is not gonna match every single beat. It's just not. Like, every 808 has a completely different frequency. You know, back in the day, I think the hardest thing before the good compressors came out was to match a kick on top of an 808. I used to have so much trouble with that. They would clash.
So what software did you start off with? Fruity Loops or?
Fruity Loops and Cakewalk. And then I went to Pro Tools, Logic.
How long ago was this? Like, how old were you when you started making beats?
So actually the first thing I ever made a beat on was a Dr. Groove, like, 808 machine. Like, the drum machine.
I had that joint. Yeah, I bought
like
that.
A red and black one?
Mine was purple. It was from Sam Ash.
I got the same place. I used to go in there and be like a kid in a candy store, bro. And then I had like a Roland, some recorder, like an 8-track recorder.
I had that too.
That's what I'm saying.
Setup.
So we know it from a different angle. Like, we really know it from a real sonic angle where, like, we didn't have it so fucking easy. Like, everything was outboard. Like, I just got the new Apollo and I don't even use a preamp no more. Like, because the unison plugins within Universal Audio, like, are better than an outboard preamp.
Now, did you start as a producer first, or did you start as an artist first, or both?
I started as an artist, actually.
So you was rapping and singing before you started making beats?
I've been singing since I'm like 7, man. Like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I guess when you go through trauma and shit, you just turn to something. And I just turned to music. And I've been writing music since I'm like literally 7. We have videos of me with my own song at like 7, 8 years old. And so I was always like a singer, rapper, but I always felt you know how it is. I mean, just speaking honestly, it's kind of hard to be like a white guy. I've always been around, you know, black people in the urban element. It's kind of hard to just classify myself as a rapper, and that's kind of why I always pull back from that, because I don't want people to think that I'm something I'm not. You know, I've always been around this element, but I've never been the guy in the element, you know, making the moves that'll go to prison, you know? So I keep that in mind when I like come out as a rapper. Like I had to pull a record. I had a record op and it was getting really hot. All the clubs that were asking me to do shows were hood clubs, and there were spots that people are getting shot at right now.
Yeah.
And it's like I have other music that's top 40. It doesn't make sense for me as a business person to make a decision to go that route. Pull that shit from my page and everything, and it had 30,000 streams on Spotify in 1 month. And that was me also testing records. I felt like this is a dummy record. Let me throw it away, and it caught real fast. But you know, I think that it's important to know what you're putting out. So I've always kind of came across as a producer, but the producer aspect came from me being in college, paying a producer, and I didn't get the album done in time. I was just waiting. I'm like, you know what, fuck this.
So you was in college paying other producers to make your beats.
I did a whole fucking album I never got.
Let's go back to when you was 7 though. You say you started singing and rapping when you was 7. What was you into at that time? What was you listening to at that time? Like you was into hip hop already at 7?
R&B shit. I was listening to like.
Oh, you was listening to John B.
Like Color Me Bad and shit like that. Like
you was a John B fan?
Oh, dog, John B. Oh man, to be honest with you, I owe John B so much money because John B got me every girl from 1996 to like 2002. John B got me all the women, like, because I could sing and I had the chin strap beard like him. So literally people would call me John B. Still to this day on my Facebook, they'd be like, John B.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a bad boy, man.
That dude, he had swag. And then, see, that's the thing. He came out and he wasn't trying to be anything he wasn't. And in this industry, like, you can shoot yourself in the foot really fast by trying to be something you're not, or put out something that you're not. Like, I've seen stuff, man. I've been at a show where somebody pulled a gun out right in front of, you know, right on the artist who was just rapping about gangster shit. The guy says to him, like, you know, I want to see if you're about that. And like, what are you supposed to do? I'm about that. Shoot me, you know?
I agree with that, but I also agree, like, we living in a bizarro world right now where it's like people that ain't even supposed to be making music are stars now. And like, they be on these interviews, like, they'll do an interview like this and rap their lyrics and be like, yeah, I never done that. I talked about toting the Glock. I've never even touched the Glock. And they don't care. Like, Lil Tecca is a good, you know what I'm saying, example. But there's a lot of these artists that I feel like it matters, but that shit don't matter. But I personally enjoy authenticity.
I do too.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think other people too. Like when you listen to Young Dolph, he was my favorite rapper. When you listen to Young Dolph, you just knew that motherfucker was a street dude. Like, there was no way around it. He embodied it. You looked at him, same thing that like a lot of these artists. When you used to look at like the Jeezys and stuff, like you knew this was a boss.
Ooh, we're gonna add that 808 in this game.
Gucci Man, like you look at people, you just know they're street dudes. When you're from it, you know what I mean? You could spot it. And I think that's the problem with guys like you and I. Like, we've been around it for so long, we can spot the bullshit. We can spot the bitch in you real quick. Like, don't start. You know, you're around it so long. I run into that all the time too, man. I meet people and I just think to myself, like, you really need to be yourself, man, because somebody's gonna get you out here slipping. You know, unfortunately for me, you know, I've been 6'2", so I feel like something that has helped me is like no one wants to get world starred by the white guy either. So I feel like that kind of helped me in a way too. I just know if I was like 5'8", I would have had so many problems in this industry. Seriously, man. You know, but I think people gotta be careful what they put out there.
It's a good thing I'm 6'4", you feel me?
There you go. I mean? The moment we're sitting down, it feels like that, man. So
I'm the tallest Japanese you done ever seen.
Hey, when you do like them skits though, bro, you be looking huge, man. You be like, yo, that's one huge Asian. I'm like, well, yeah, huge Asian. But
right. That's all that soy sauce, man. That's that sauce, baby. So what else you got going on right now besides the music?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. So I got into film production. So I've been writing movies since I'm like young too. I'm just like an all-around character. Like I do comedy, I do everything. Like I have a unique brain, and whatever I get interested in, I just get obsessed about. So I got into films. I just shot a movie called Remote Location. The trailer drops next week on. I'm trying to go through either World Star, Shade Room first, and then like Deadline, Variety, all the big blogs. But it's got Jasmine David as a star. It's got Thomas Rusley and Lexi De La Rosa and myself acting in it. And oddly enough, so I wrote the movie.
What's the name of the movie again?
It's called Remote Location.
Okay.
And you could check it out.
Remote Location.
Yeah.
Hey, hold up, man. We gonna do some sponsoring real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna throw a little sponsoring out there real quick.
Welcome to paradise.
Bernie Hillman.
Yes, sir.
I saw you on the news. It said that you were
Dead, right?
hell yeah. Dead as hell.
Well, I am not. And all these people are alive too.
Who set us up? Huh?
All right.
So, continue. Tell them about that real quick. Like,
Okay, so I wrote it, executive produced it, and I ended up acting in it. I ended up becoming one of the leads in it, and I've never acted a day in my life, but I feel like I'm just natural, like everything, entertainer. So my friend was supposed to do it, and he couldn't do it. So the day before, I just kind of switched up the script and everything. So it's got Jasmine David, Thomas Rusley, Lexi De La Rosa, all whom have been in films and are out there doing their thing right now, and myself. And Mark Samuels, I gotta give him a world of credit, man. I mean, this dude is a beast. He did Murder Gardens, and that's out everywhere on every platform you could think of. And he's a beast, man. Like, I thought I wanted to be a movie director and all this stuff, and I realized movie directing is not my thing. I hated it when it's a lot of hours on set, people don't realize. Like, to do a music video shoot, realistically, if you really wanted to, you could get away using the right cameras, right moving lighting. You could get away with just shooting on the fly a half-hour video. Could get away with it. You cannot get away with anything less than like a 5-hour shoot with film. Like, it's 2-3 hours just to set that shit up, the miking and all that. But the movie is dope as shit. The trailer has gotten, everybody I've sent it to is already giving me deals on it. Like, they're nuts about it. And it's basically about 2 stars that move to an island. They're convinced from their friend who's a manager. They move to an island to get away from the paparazzi. Once they get to the island, they realize, oh, this is all the stars we thought were dead or missing. And slowly there's a sinister turn that happens into it. So I have a $1,000 contest going on. And so basically you answer questions about the trailer and you're entered to win $1,000. And there's a couple more steps which get you even more entries. So I think we're doing it September, the end of September, we're doing a live drawing from the Remote Location page. And we're gonna give somebody $1,000. Gonna put all the names in there, all the submissions.
okay then.
If they got 3 submissions, I'm putting 3 submissions in. I'm gonna do it live on whoever really took the time to get it right, because there's a hidden code in there. So whoever really took the time to get it right, I'm gonna give them $1,000.
That's what's up.
So I'm really trying to make it interactive. It's gonna be everywhere. Like I said, I've already got big situations for it. So I'm proud of it, man. Like for my first movie, that thing came out, looking like a Paramount Pictures, So, and everybody did a great job, man. I was super impressed. Jasmine killed it. Jasmine Davis, she just killed it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I
Thomas
checked out
killed
the trailer as soon as you sent it to me, and that I was really impressed. Like, that shit really looked like a movie. Like,
Yeah, it looked like really it's supposed to be out already, like not an indie. I think people say it to me all the time, and at first we kind of took offense to it. Everybody was like, man, this looks like a real movie. Or this looks like, this don't look like an indie.
Where was it shot at?
It was shot down here, actually. So I picked that was the hard part too, because you're shooting a movie called Remote Location, so you had to find the right outlets to shoot that. And then there was a couple places that until I get the licensing, I can't, we're working on getting the licensing worked out, but a couple island places, but mostly here. And a couple scenes were in my house. Like the beginning of it was in my house in the living room. I've probably done like 5 music videos in my house at this point. So yeah, but the movie, I'm proud of
the joint that we did with Gunplay.
Yep, at the house.
DJ
Purple Skies was at the house. But yeah, the movie, I love it, man. I actually loved film producing. So I started right now, the pitch decks, the sizzle reels, all that, and started getting into it. Because the industry is different now too. Like, you want to get a check, you need to get on a movie. Like movie soundtracks can sell any record. And you got to think about it like, you do a music video, people have to go to see that, but if they're watching a movie and it's the most monumental part of the movie and your song is there, they're attached to it forever, just like Celine Dion's and the Titanic record.
Did you say you shot the whole movie already or what?
Yep.
Oh, so it's done?
It's done.
It's a full-length movie?
Yep, whole movie. So
how long is it, like?
Like 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, it's a full movie. So
that's crazy. Y'all shot that thing quick, like.
Yeah, like it was.
It seemed like
it was quick. It wasn't. It was over like 3 months.
Yeah, but like most movies take like 6 months to a year. Like y'all shot the whole movie in 2-3 months?
Because we did it differently. Like we picked a lot of locations that didn't need licensing. So like most of the time you have to go through like special places just to get these rental properties and stuff like that. And that shit's like $1,000 an hour to get a nice facility, a nice house, whatever. So I did it a different route and I went through Airbnb and actually got the licensing agreements from the people from Airbnbs. So, I had the whole place for 2-3 days. You could have people sleep there, you know what I mean? So, and it gives you the ability to shoot more like out of 90 days where they may be able to get done 15 days of shooting, you're able to get done like 30 to 45, So, but acting was cool for me, man. Like, I actually really enjoyed acting.
Like, you did a good job, I ain't gonna lie. From what I seen, I only seen the trailer, but from what I seen, you did a good job.
Appreciate it. But it opens up the door for music too, man. It's like, if you produce a movie, no one can tell me I can't put, my own music in the movie. But I don't have an ego, so like the trailer music I didn't do. I tried to match it to the music that we got, and I just couldn't do it.
So was you doing the soundtrack to it?
Yeah.
That would be dope. Like I always wanted to shoot me a movie and then make like an actual soundtrack album.
Right. And what's cool is when you do a soundtrack, like let's say you get a publishing deal, or you want to get a publishing deal. If I have a major distribution on a soundtrack, especially like shit the way it is now, Amazon Prime, Roku, all these different platforms, like if you go with Maverick distribution, you're on all those. You're on Showtime Plus, you're on HBO Plus. So I think that's the way to go now, because you're really majorly distributing your movie and you're connecting emotion to it. So everybody who loved that movie remembers those songs, you know what I mean? So, and you give yourself an outlet to go get a publishing deal, because now you can say, hey, these are really getting placed. I got control of it, And everything's about publishing at the end of the day, especially if you're a producer. As an artist, it's like another ball game I'm stepping into, but I realize that's really show money. But I don't thrive off of performing live and stuff like that for shows. I'll do it,
Yeah.
If I'm paid right, but before you hit that level as an artist, you're just not paid right to do it. Like, I'm not going nowhere unless you give me security. I'm just not doing it. I need 2 big motherfuckers, like a wall in front of me. I ain't going nowhere. They gotta be taller than me.
You gotta stay dangerous out here, man. This shit crazy out here, dog.
Yeah, they don't pay me.
Real for real.
I ain't doing it.
People getting killed for nothing out here.
Yep. So that's Omnisphere right there?
Yeah, this is an Omnisphere sign right here. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I need to add something more to it, so it's not just like the same thing over and over. I'm trying to figure out what else I should add. I thought about adding some dots or something. If you hear anything while I'm whipping up, let me know. You feel free to touch the keys too if you want, since you a fellow producer, you feel me? So yeah, the name of the movie, one more time.
Remote Location. And
is that the only movie y'all working on right now? You got any other movies or what?
No, I'm working on 3 others, man. I'm working on a movie called The Worst Client. That one basically is about a new attorney who moves to a new area, and he gets his first client. He's kind of like a pushover character. He gets his first client. His first client ends up being like a whole, like something he wasn't in you know, expecting.
Yeah.
Ends up being like a whole CIA operation. It's a comedy movie. And at the end, he kind of gets his respect as a man, but it's a whole comedy movie. It's hilarious. And then I have another one I'm working on, and it's called The Safe Drone. And it's about a tech company that makes a new drone, and that drone follows children so that they can be safe, the safe drone, right? So they blow up, and then one day when this woman's daughter goes missing, they realize, wait a minute, she realized there may be a connection to these drones and kids going missing. So it exposes the whole underground, like, child, you know, trafficking and everything.
That shit real too, man.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do it, to really be able to express something on that. You know, you gotta do a little bit of everything. Like, I love comedy, but I think sometimes there's issues that need to be
So are
touched,
you,
you know?
are you writing these scripts? Like,
Yeah, wrote the whole script, 100 pages stuff.
So you
yeah.
the person that, like, you Ice Cube, like, you coming up
I'm
with
doing
the
everything,
ideas,
bro.
the story, everything.
Yeah, like to the point where like I'm buying the Netflix cameras. Like I just spent like 40 racks on like film equipment and like buying a whole facility, like 7,000 square foot facility. Just
I ain't gonna lie, I've been thinking about grabbing a new camera. What you said that Black Magic
that
was
Black
going
Magic 6K, and it's cheap too, man.
for? It's a
just
small
like,
one or what?
Yeah, it's like the size of the Sony 7A, a little bit bigger, but it's lighter. I mean, I'd say
What that's
half the
going
weight.
for?
1,800.
Shit,
It's less than the 7A.
That's without the lens though, right?
Yeah, but you know, the lenses, so I wait for the sale days. On Amazon Prime Day, I went ham.
Yeah.
It was like, everything was like 40 and 50% off. But yeah, I've been working on the movies, man, and it's like one after another, and it's dope. And then I started renting out studios and doing like comedy skits, like comedy sketches. So got a massive amount of things that are about to happen this year. Like, this is just like the tip of it. I got softwares and platforms and stuff coming out, but I always just think like a business, man, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like-
I ain't gonna lie, I always planned on getting my Master P, my Ice Cube on, and getting into the movie scene, you feel me?
Right.
I actually wrote a movie myself, and I want to come up with like a hood movie as well. The movie I kind of like started on is like a comedy street type of movie, but I want to do like a hood film and get all my homies involved, like Bone Thugs, and get Trick in there and get, you know what I'm saying, Deslock, and just all these people that I mess with, and like make a
Yeah,
you know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
tell you the
Like,
hardest
dope
part,
little
man,
movie.
when you're doing a film is these people gotta really be willing to like be there for a long time and take things professionally.
Right.
Not to say any of those guys wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just rappers are not used to that.
It takes a lot of time.
Dog, I mean, you'll be on the set waiting for them to just like, we're moving from here to there like 20 feet. It's like an hour.
Yeah.
And you gotta let them do it because the lighting's gotta be right. It's not like a video, like a music video. It's click, 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 you know, real in and out shit. Like, this is like whole 3-minute scenes that you may chop to 15 seconds, 30 seconds. But that whole scene gotta be contiguous, like it's continuous in the sense that like the lighting has to be perfect. Like when you're on a whole cinema screen in a movie theater, because that's how you're shooting it so that it'll fit on a movie screen.
Yeah.
That shit's gotta be fucking perfect. Like, and what also is different too is like, we had to actually like storyboard it. So Mark Samuels, who directed the movie and put it into final script or final draft format, like that man there, he had a lot of work cut out for him, like with the how many hours and stuff, but he really put it into a chart, like literally like an Excel sheet. He found shots of other movies, screenshotted them, and literally put like, this is the scene. So when they're laying down like this, he found a scene, like the overview shot, like to the point where every single shot we took, we had like something like 60-something B-roll shots just for B-roll, like specifically for B-roll. And then he had like probably another, whatever, there's 100 shots of just, you know, dialogue, this, that, like, even to get the drone footage, you can't just grab shit from YouTube. You gotta license your drone footage, you know? And we also had, you know, people who literally did real drone footage, and you got
But you
licensing for that.
could use royalty-free stock though, ain't it?
Yeah, the problem is like a lot of that stuff, when you go to color correction, even when you color correct it, it changes the mood. Like, you know, if it was a dark kind of spooky kind of feeling, and then you take a bright,
it has to be, it has to match it.
Right, and it's hard to find stock footage that really does that, honestly.
Yeah.
It's easier to do that in a trailer than it is the movie, for sure. Like, because most of the stock footage is like, the fact that someone else can get it, you don't really want to have a movie that someone else can get the stock footage, you know? Music video, not so much, I don't really care, you know? But it's so flashy and in and out. So, yeah, but movies is dope, bro. Like,
I'm excited to see the whole movie. When is the whole movie coming out?
Well, actually, it's supposed to be next year. So I also didn't realize how long you're supposed to promote movies. Like, this is a whole ordeal that I didn't know. And I like going through stuff like this because, you know, you learn so much.
Yeah.
Like, I thought literally you could shoot, like, on a DSL camera. I thought you could shoot a movie. No way. No way. Like, even the lenses, like, the bodies of some of the cameras they were using, like 10,000 bodies. You know, the lens alone is $4,000. You know, then the lighting, then the gears, then the shoulder rigs. There's so many things that go into it, man. Like, it's definitely different.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. But it's a much bigger reward. You know, I look at it like, how many, like, artists are considered A-list true stars? Like,
yeah,
you know, like 50 Cent was 50 Cent, honestly, and when Power, you know, these shows came out, now he's like solidified. He don't never need to rap again.
Yeah, I was just watching the interview with French Montana, and he was just saying how making it as a rapper is harder than making it in the NBA. Like, it's easier to get in the NBA or the NFL than to be one of the top successful rappers. Because there's only a handful of top successful rappers, especially in each state. Like, if you go to each state, like you go to New York, there's only a few that's really on top. You go to Florida, there's really only a few that's really on top. But when you in the NBA or the NFL, you got a whole team. You got teams on teams on teams. So the chances are bigger for you. You know what I'm saying?
And not just the chances, but like your certainty is far better. You know, like your artist, you're a flash in the pan, usually.
Yeah.
Different for producers.
Especially trying to survive in the music industry.
Yeah, these, you know, basketball players is on $1 million salaries, so they know the check is coming. When you're in the music industry, there's no...
Right.
How do you know when your check is coming? Every 3 months, my royalty statement comes in, and every 6 months from my publishing company. So, you know, and then, you know, one more comment on that publishing stuff is when you're going for your publishing deals, you want to make sure that you've got all of those records registered, because an admin deal is going to collect those publishings that's out there, and then the other publishing deal is for future advances. And that's why you always just got a hit. Like, a hit is a hit is a hit. You got to have one. If you don't have a hit, there's nothing to talk about usually. And I think the problem now is nobody knows how to actually make it into a hit.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I mean, if so, there's so many artists that, like, somebody had a conversation with me the other day, and he was like, why isn't this star, and this star right now with the #1 single if they're so hot? And I said, I don't know, they don't feel like it. He's like, yeah, right, everybody wants to hit single. He's like, because they haven't figured out this modern game of social media.
And it's constantly changing every
virality,
day.
Yeah. Even the algorithms on that shit have changed. Like, last year I studied the algorithms of TikTok and Instagram and saw what, like, weighed most heavily for Instagram and what weighed most heavily for TikTok. And that shit changed again. I'm like, fuck. Like, it's hard to keep up with that. And like, for me, like, approaching it like a business person, now I have a VA, a virtual assistant, because it's too much time to do all this shit.
Just tell me about it.
So that's why I started reaching out to other artists, and like the stuff that cost me a lot of money that I've figured out now, I'm trying to, you know, get to them at a reasonable cost. Like, so I have majorlabelrelease.com coming soon. And it's basically 30 steps to release a single, from like blogs, flyers, the video, the record pools, the everything. Because there's so much shit to it that, you know, you could do it on your own. I could tell you how to do it, but you'll never be an artist and do it at the same time.
Nah, it's a lot of work, man. Sometimes I wish I could just make the music and not have to worry about all that stuff. It's definitely a full-time job, though. It's like a whole nother science to that, like when it comes to marketing, and unfortunately, that's the most important part. Like the music matters, but the marketing is just as important, if not more important, because you could literally, these days, you could take trash and turn it into treasure with the right marketing. So it ain't always about having a hit song. You don't make a hit song, you market a hit song.
Honestly, I know everybody was mad at the Island Boys, and I wasn't. I even put it on my page, I wasn't mad at them. And the reason why I wasn't is you could take all the hate you want on them, but all they were was a culmination of all the bullshit that we see every day. And to me, it was a really good slap in the face for people to say, hey, you guys are the motherfuckers who made them popular. Why are you hating on them? You guys were the same motherfuckers that for 3 months have been posting all their shit. How do you think people go viral? So don't be mad at them when they go viral and you're the same motherfucker with that shit on your page. When I scroll down, like, how do you think they went viral? But we can't even beg you to put our own music video out, but you'll go and send, Fuckboy out there and pass his shit around. Mm-hmm. But that's, to me, why I liked what they did. Because they came out there with the bullshit and put it full on right in front of your face, and everybody accepted it. So to me, it was like the hoax of the industry. Like, we were thinking maybe these guys got some good records in them and they were fucking with us. No, they had no good records and they were not fucking with us. We are that fucking simple nowadays that it's just about marketing. If some shit stays in your head, it's good. That's it. It doesn't even matter if it's really good. It's just staying in your head. It's obsessing. That's it. It's a hit.
You either gotta be super, super incredibly talented and have an undeniable hit, or you just gotta be weird and like different. You gotta have something about you that's gonna make people want to say, hey, look at these guys. Like, do you see this shit?
Yep.
Can you believe this? Like, you see this shit that's blowing up?
Shock value.
Right.
Yeah, but I read this thing. I forgot the name of the book because I'd like to give him credit, but it's a guy. He's got. I think it's called How to Reach 1 Million Followers. And basically, he talks about how he started an account 2 times, and in 30 days, he hit 1 million followers.
Really?
Yeah, and
I think I seen it. Is he on YouTube?
Yeah.
I seen a video like that where he showed his whole method and all that.
Yeah, and so basically, it really comes down to striking an emotion.
Yeah. And having a niche.
Yeah, and so my mistake in the past has been just to throw some shit up. I'm out of the club and post a picture.
Yeah.
I didn't really plan the content. So now, I've been really planning the content. Like, I'm literally making 1-minute audios that people can put in the background. It's like motivations and shit like that. Like 1 minute, I made a 1-minute parable called The Man in the Coconut that I'm just trying to like let out there so that people can use it in the background. Because it's really more about creating good content that either people love for some reason, or it bothers them so much, or it's an open-ended question that makes people say, like, was he right or was he wrong?
Yeah.
Like the other day, it was a perfect example. It clicked to me. There was this video of this girl, she slapped this guy like 15 times. And then he was like, okay, and punched her, and one time she dropped, of course, right? You seen that?
Yeah,
it was like, I think yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure people have difference of opinion on that. No matter how you look at that video, there's 2 different perspectives or multiple,
there's
right?
a lot of people that are faking that stuff now too, just to get views.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But at the end of the day, like, it's said on there, what do y'all think? Or what would y'all do? Is he wrong? Now you're gonna have women saying, oh my God, he just punched a woman. Then you're gonna have women and men saying, wait a minute, you can't hit anybody 15 times and not expect to get punched like a man. But that is what I'm saying, it strikes that chord. Mm-hmm. Now that's something that doesn't matter
it's sparking
if you're
the
a
convo.
music guy or not,
Yeah. It's sparking a debate.
Right.
And making people engage in the comments. Mm-hmm. Rather than just seeing another CD cover with a song playing that they just wanna swipe. It's when motherfuckers see a CD cover and a new single, it's spam to them these days. Like
it really is.
They swiping it. They finna go watch the fight. They're gonna watch, you know what I'm saying, someone getting hit by a car or something.
Well, I think like shit, Jake Paul is like, to me, the man of the year. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
Yeah.
Like Jake Paul, like, to me, like, showed people what is important about entertainment. It's entertainment. Mm-hmm. He took a sport that was starting to die off because of UFC and the other sports, and he made it come back by making it entertaining.
Facts.
So there's that element too, and he knows how to market. And once again, that's like the best marketer in the world right there, it always comes back down to the same shit. It always comes back down to marketing, you know, and then having the right image to sell that marketing.
Yeah.
You know, it always comes to the same damn thing every time. You know, every once in a while you find somebody gets lucky. You know, that shit happens. You know, I know a few artists off the top of my head that have been lucky. I wouldn't say them, but, you know, it happens, for sure. Happens, luck happens, you know, but that only happens when you're prepared for it, you know?
Right. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna hit you with some commercials real quick, and we're gonna be right back.
I'm stacking money like a tycoon. I buy it low, then I watch it boom. Yeah, I'm smoking moon rocks, I'm on the moon. Somebody call her Elon, cause I'm about to zoom to the moon. Yeah, to the moon. Ayy, I'm stacking that crypto up to the moon. Yeah, to the moon. Ayy, to the moon. I'm smoking moon rocks, I'm on the moon.
All right, so we back. The GoldMighne, baby. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and let the people know, you know what I'm saying, anything that you got out right now that they need to know about, any songs. We already talked about the movies. Let them know where to follow you at, all that good stuff.
It's CP Hollywood 954 at Instagram. It's on TikTok, it's CP Hollywood. Same thing with YouTube, CP Hollywood. I got Purple Star ENT, it's about to come out. That's the film company, Purple Star Studios, etc. And I'm open book, man. DM me. I pretty much always hit people back. Just try to stay humble as I can, and you know, just however I can work with people. I always try to work with people at their highest and best use, however I can do it. I'm a businessman and a good person at the end of the day. So.
Oh yeah, y'all interested in that real estate? Hit my boy up too, man.
Yeah, been flipping houses now for like 7 years.
Yeah, he ain't just an artist, producer, writer, actor. My dog be flipping houses, man.
Yeah.
Big real estate shit. You feel me? Yeah, I'm gonna play this beat real quick. See what I whipped up while we was having this conversation. You feel me? Started from the top. See what we got here. If you hear anything I need to add in the beat, let me know. But I know you probably gonna be coming up with lyrics and all types of shit.
Caught up in my feelings. Your body, you a killer. Baby, I be the last one. Baby, I be the last one.
I like that.
Baby, I be the last one. Hey, I don't wanna get all caught up in my feelings. Way that body looking, baby, you look like a killer. I don't wanna do it like a thriller. Baby, I will be the last one.
Hey, y'all witnessed it, man. I made this beat right in front of y'all while we was having a convo. You feel me?
And I'm just now hearing it too, like
okay,
hearing
then.
it, right?
This beat is for sale.
I might fuck around and cop that bitch after this hook I just made.
Hey, I might send you home. I might send you home with some homework.
I get caught up in my feelings. Way that body looking, baby, you look like a killer. I can steal her. And I'll be the last one.
Yeah, you sound like you ready to hit the mic, man.
Man, I'm always ready to hit the mic.
I'm gonna be the last one, yeah.
Hey, all y'all, make sure y'all go get my new single, man. My official single, Whoop De Whoop, featuring YB Spitter, out right now. I got a brand new single featuring Chatland Pats called Gook Out. It's out right now. Also featuring YDC the Creator, Sauce 26. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, y'all go get that. Support me and CP Music. Y'all know what it is.
I got 2 albums, I'm about to release 2. I didn't talk about. I definitely should.
Let the people know.
Last year I got together. I did an album called The Wave. I haven't released it yet because, and I'm sure a lot of the artists are like, why didn't CP release it? He's not putting it out. But I didn't want to do them an injustice. You know, like I got Briscoe on it, I got Papa Duck on it, got the Gunplay on it, you're on it, Tierra, Trinice is on it, Miguchi is on it, Deslock. Case One, Busta Free. So there's so many people.
The whole world.
Yeah, like there's so many people on it. I didn't want to do like an injustice to it. Like, even down to people that I was just fucking with, like Lyric Kill, and just who gave me good songs.
Shout out to the homie Lyric Kill, man.
Yeah,
I did my first show with Lyric Kill.
There you go. Like, so, I mean, I have everybody on it, and I say, you know, I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna start trickling it out, and then I got another album that is pretty much the top 40. It's almost country. Like, I got like 6 like country urban records on it that is really like become the sound. When I send it to the industry, that's the shit they like. They don't. It's like the urban shit they ignore from me. And all the top 40 crossover, like Aloe Black sound and stuff, is the stuff they like from me. So that's what I've been doing. Like, fuck it, it's a business. That's what you want, I'll give it to you.
Straight up, man. Shit, I heard you coming up with some dope shit over there, though, man. I think you need to hit this mic, man.
I'm ready, man.
You want to hit this mic?
Yeah, man. I got a record that I think I'll knock out, man.
Let's go and hit this
whole
mic.
trip. Let's see it.
Hey, it's the GoldMighne.
Let's get it.
With guest CP Hollywood. My dog about to hit this mic.
I'm about to hit it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The GoldMighne.
Girl, you working it like some poultry. Put it on me, girl, and stay focused. You're the only one that I notice. You're the one I'm trying to go home with. You can do it all in slow motion. I'ma get behind you and stroke it. Girl, I'm the man and you know it. You can do it all like some working like some poultry. Girl, this ain't no hoe shit. She working for the money. Y'all must not know shit. My wallet got a hole in it. Crib got a pole in it. I'll show her all my cars. That black car, there ain't no holding it. Girl, the way you bend it. Love the way you folding it. Let you ride on out. Hey, girl, I'ma coast with it. Ride it like a wave. Hey, girl, I'ma flow with it. Knocking out the walls. Shaking out them doors with it. Put it on me, girl, and stay focused. You're the only one that I notice. You're the one I'm trying to go home with. You can do it all in slow motion. I'ma get behind you and stroke it. Girl, I'm the man and you know it. You can do it all like some poultry. You know about them poultries. Money gotta flow to it. Girl, I see you on your grind. I'm on that same vibe. Girl, you out with stars tonight. Better get your head alright. I'ma make you work for it. Then I'll fuck you up your mind. Baby, don't have to find me with a bad bitch behind me. The music's so loud. Girl, you know how them lights be. Give a fuck about your man. Girl, he gon' have to find me. It's poultry, baby. You know that it's size. Poultry. Put it on me, girl, and stay focused. You're the only one that I notice. You're the one I'm trying to go home with. You can do it all in slow motion. I'ma get behind you and stroke it. Girl, I'm the man and you know it. You can do it all like some poultry. And she knows what I like. Making money through the night. She bring it home, she got it right. Pouring tricks and flashing lights. Girl, you gotta leave it like some old tricks. Put it on me, girl, and stay focused. You're the only one that I notice. You're the one I'm trying to go home with. You can do it all in slow motion. I'ma get behind you and stroke it. Girl, I'm the man and you know it. You can do it all like some poultry.
The GoldMighne.